number 11, Utah on the road at number 14, Oklahoma State, 3 p.m. game on Fox. Garrett, the biggest story coming into this game is the status of Cam Rising. Our friends over at the Walk-On Red Shirts, I think their perpetual joke is that Cam Rising is just a universal game time decision, always questionable, no matter what day of the week it is. I need to know what Cam Rising is going to bring, if he's going to be able to play in this game, what level of performance we're going to get. We had a Twitter comment earlier when I put this out as one of the 5 most intriguing games of the week. And the commenter said, this is a game that Cam Rising typically thrives in. I agree, but man, you got to sign up for 60 in order to thrive and beat a team like Oklahoma State. So, I'll lead off on this one. Ollie Gordon on the other side for Oklahoma State, he's looked supremely average this year. Garrett, your fantasy team is not off to the hottest start in the running back department. Ollie Gordon only with 3.48 yards per carry. Pokes are averaging just 112 yards on the ground, which is not normal for what we saw from Oklahoma State once they really got up and rolling last year. Now, in those opponents that they played, South Dakota State, Arkansas, and Tulsa, Arkansas is the 7th best rushing defense through 3 weeks. Whatever that's worth, you got to take that into account. But I do wonder what it really speaks to as far as the Oklahoma State offensive line. They've done really, really well in pass protection so far. They have not given up a sack. Only like 4 tackles for loss, I want to say, that they've given up through the first 3 weeks. So they've done a good job in pass protection. But as far as opening up those holes that Ollie Gordon would love to have, that hasn't happened so much so far this season. It really didn't last year. If you go back and watch the tape, it was really Ollie Gordon, kind of the creator back there, finding holes, trucking over guys, making his own room. That's certainly something that I'm watching. Utah also much better against the run than Oklahoma State is. This game, I think, could come down to who runs the ball better. Oklahoma State's given up 4.4 yards a carry. I texted Trey, kind of asking for his pick, seeing where he felt like he was on this game. And he said, man, I don't know how Oklahoma State keeps Utah from getting 6 yards a carry.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to watch the run game there, especially because I think with Cam Rising playing, and I just looked on Twitter, I think he will be playing in this game. He will be starting. And really it's just more of, is he healthy enough to be himself, right? Is he going to feel good enough to play his game? If he is, I think that Utah is going to be able to do what they want to a little bit on offense and, run for whatever they want to. Oklahoma State kind of plays Green Day football. They just say, wake me up when September ends, right? And they just decide that they don't want to play football for the first month of the season. Don't ask them about South Alabama or, Central Michigan, whoever else. There's just a couple of teams that have gotten them in the past when it comes to September's. But look, this is an Oklahoma State team that should be playing better than they are in the run game. This is just fact of the matter. Ollie Gordon should be getting a lot more. But, what Oklahoma State's kind of game plan so far this year has been is, hey, they're going to, the opposing defense is going to try to shut down the run. Alan Bowman's got to be the guy. He's got to be the hero, right? That's been what the name of the game has been for Oklahoma State. So far, Bowman's actually done a pretty good job of being the hero and finding a way to move the football. And so shout out to him. I just think that the Utah defense is way more talented than anything that they faced so far. I think Whittingham and co, they're going to be a lot better in Stillwater than other people have. I think that they're obviously going to run a much better defense than even Arkansas did a couple weeks ago. So, look, I think that they're going to do a good job shutting this down. I don't think that they're going to need as many guys to stop the run, so I think they can commit a couple more guys to the pass. And look, I'm a big fan of Utah, obviously, enjoying what the Utes are doing. Also got a little soft spot for Oklahoma State. So I'm not picking, for, any particular bias or love or anything like that. I actually really like both of these teams. But right now, I'm picking Utah to win this one minus the 2 that they give us. I think they're the better team. I think Cam Rising is going to play and do a good job. And I think that this Utah team is the class of the Big 12 when Cam Rising is healthy. When Cam Rising is healthy, Utah is the class of the Big 12. And Oklahoma State, so far, they haven't shown me that they can overcome the other team trying to stop Ollie Gordon, at least in any significant way. I get it. They, stomped on Tulsa last week. Congrats. Like, you want a cookie? What are we talking about, right? It's Tulsa. And so, I'm optimistic that Oklahoma State's going to turn this around because that's what happens when the calendar turns to October. And I'm convinced that, they're going to go beat a couple teams maybe that people wouldn't expect them to down the stretch. And we might see this matchup again in a couple of months when it hits the Big 12 championship game. But right now, first round, I'm going to give it to Utah minus the 2 points. Cam Rising, I think, can have a nice bounce back day.
I am really interested to see the quarterback battle in this one. Alan Bowman has certainly put up a lot of yards. He's thrown for a number of touchdowns so far this season. Oklahoma State has the 8th best passing offense coming in through 3 weeks against Utah's 26th ranked passing defense. So good on good there. Again, I think it really comes down to who excels in the trenches. Statistically, the edge goes to Utah in the vast majority of these categories, but Oklahoma State is right behind them. You talk about third down efficiency. You talk about turnovers. You look at sacks and tackles for loss. They kind of flip back and forth, and one is always right behind the other. So the math really projects this one as a pick'em style game. Because of that, Oklahoma State, for whatever reason, finds ways to win these ranked matchups at home. Everything in me is really saying go with Utah. If you've got a healthy Cam Rising, go with the better unit in the trenches, go with the better defense. I sure as heck am not buying stock in Oklahoma State's defense. But man, the Pokes find a way to defend their home field. So I'm going to take Oklahoma State plus the 2. It's not much candy, but I'll take it, and I'll ride with Oklahoma State. I do think Utah probably wins this game, but hey, if Oklahoma State finds a way to ride again, I look good either way. So
the funny thing about that, though, is, you get, big game Gundy, which, he seems to show up and just call an awesome game against these, top-ranked teams like you're mentioning. But this is still September Oklahoma State. So I guess we're going to see which curse wins out, right? We're going to have to see, is it going to be big game versus the September thing? Are they going to play well at the beginning of the year? Can Gundy find a way to, spark the, inspiration the right way, get them one win in September that matters? I don't know. It's going to be curious. I'm really interested to see where it goes.
Gracious, how about that?